So very important question.
Okay.
How can you figure out how many calories you need to eat a day?
When she said very important question, I was like, I thought she was going to be like, is everyday arm day? But yes, by the way. How can you figure out how many calories you need to eat a day? How many calories do I eat a day? Okay, so there's a thing called a BMR, right? You can Google it. You just put like your age, your height, your weight, and it'll give you a number. And that's like how many calories your body burns, just like if you laid around all day at rest. So then you would add calories on top of that, depending on like how much activity or like if you're doing like a physical labor job or something like that. And then you could add another amount of calories on top of that, depending on if you're like trying to build muscle or if you're trying to not build fat, trying to burn fat or build muscle. So it really depends on the person's like age, height, weight, and then like their activity or their output from like their job or how much exercise they're doing. Are they working out twice a day? Are they working out once a day? Because you'd have to adjust for how many calories that person is taking in so that they feel the best. And that's completely unique to every person.
How many calories do you eat a day?
How many calories do I eat a day? Not enough. That is 100% my biggest battle in bodybuilding and like being stronger and everything that I've ever done. Literally the hardest thing for me to do is get enough food in consistently. Which is honestly like one of the biggest reasons why I was always so interested in being a part of a food delivery company. Because I was like, this is something that like I see it for me 100% like prior to being a part of Trifecta, I had like delved in like trying to be a part of another company, and there's a whole shitstorm, different story, but I always needed that. No, honestly, like I needed food delivered to me because I didn't need it. Okay, I shouldn't say I needed it. It made my life so much easier because there were so many other things that I'd be doing, and I just found it super hard to get enough food in. So all the time, like
I didn't hear a number.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm very like off. I just like go in directions. Cause you have.
So like to follow up on that though, so you talked a little bit about like macros.
Yeah.
And counting calories. So it's the calories in versus calories out that are going to do weight gain, weight loss. That's the most widely accepted belief to weight maintenance. Do you think that macros matter more than calories, or are they just as important?
Well, so wait a minute. But macros, what do you mean? Macros are calories.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So there's an argument, though, that if your macro ratios are imbalanced, that you're going to have a harder time losing weight or gaining weight.
Imbalanced to who, though? Like, because that's the thing, is like, everyone is so different. So it's hard to say, like, oh, is this imbalanced for that person? It might not be imbalanced for me. It could be imbalanced for him or for you.
Do you think it matters?
Like, what the balance, what the ratio is?
If you eat the calories that you need to eat to maintain or lose weight or gain weight, does it matter what you eat underneath that?
Does it matter where the calories come from?
Yes.
Like a protein, a carb, or a fat? I think you do need a good amount of protein if you're trying to build, if you're trying to build muscle. If you're talking about just burning fat, I think also having a certain amount I think at the end of the day, when it comes to like calories and like what macros it's coming from, and protein's probably gonna be number one, what's most important. Because whether you're trying to hold on to muscle while you're burning fat or you're trying to build muscle, you're gonna need a sufficient amount of protein for your body to hold on to the muscle, right? Or to build more muscle. And then secondary, I would say, is fat, because there's essential fatty acids that the body needs to like facilitate certain actions in the body. Mm-hmm. And then thirdly, carbs are extra in a sense. There's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. You don't need carbohydrates to survive. You need fats, you need proteins.
Yeah.
So I think if you had just like, 90% carbs and then like a small percent of these other two, no matter what you're doing, it's probably going to be harder than if you had a more balanced ratio with a higher percent of fat and protein, and then carbs being like dependent on activity level.
Okay.
That's a sick fucking answer, huh?
That was a good answer. I was not expecting all that.
I swore again. Can they beat that?
I'm very proud.
Can they beat that? Please beat that. That was a good answer, huh? See, that was better.
I was going to say, protein is the only macro. Fat is essential too, some fats. But protein is like really the only macro that has like a minimum daily requirement that we have to strive for.
Yeah.
Like fat and protein, we can eat a lot less.
Yeah. Because also, I mean, isn't it?
Or fat and carbs, sorry.
Is it fat or, I think, carb? Yeah. And then, okay, wait. I'm asking you this question now. The brain is the only thing in the human body that solely runs off of sugars, though.
Yes, it does.
So it can convert-
primarily, but it can run off of ketones.
It can convert protein into sugar to be used.
It can. So fat, carbs, and protein can all be converted into sugar to be used by the brain. Carbs just get it there quicker. Without carbohydrates, because it's such a slow process. This is why the keto diet comes into play with ketosis. You create ketones that can actually feed your brain.
And I've done the keto diet, by the way, so I've enjoyed. But then I eat candy sometimes, which I also enjoy.
So not on the
straight
keto
to the brain, straight to the brain.